Hello, we are
Hey,
live. We're
hey
so happy
everybody,
to
how's it
see you.
going?
It's great to be here. All right, so it is Friday. We are about to enter into a Shabbat. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
We are moving towards sundown, but we're very excited to come live to you guys, and we're streaming live. We stream live in our private groups, but this is the first time we're going to be streaming live on our big Facebook, on our personal pages as well, because we have a message that we wanted to get out there. So we're very excited
yeah,
to share.
and a lot of our message is just it starts like anything starts. It starts with your story, right? And our story is that we realized a long time ago that we wanted to grow deep in our relationship with God. We wanted to feel that sense of closeness and intimacy with Him that we read about in the Bible, but oftentimes didn't kind of see played out, and we were hungry for that. And over the years there have been so many, I would say, almost like unofficial mentors, people that have really influenced me. And the more that we've searched and looked, the more that we've come across these people that God has put in our path and put in our lives so that we can continue to grow and so that our faith can continue to deepen. And that's been really an exciting process to be part of.
Yeah, no, that is so true. And I think one of the things that we were talking about before we got on was just how much we felt for a long time that what we were really learning and growing in was outside of the church that we were a part of
Yeah.
for a long time, for
Yeah.
years. And we were always, desiring to grow and bring in what we were learning, and kind of looked at it that way. But we reached a point a couple years ago where we realized, like, it's really important where you put yourself under a spiritual mantle,
Yeah.
and recognizing that when you're under a spiritual mantle that isn't aligning with freedom in Christ and connection to the Spirit, it's important to not be under that. It's really
Yeah.
important, more
Yeah.
than we realized. So
Especially because you realize that, at the end of the day, what you're really staying for anyway is just because you have a group of people that are involved in your life that you're doing life with.
right.
And as wonderful and amazing as that is to have, like you pointed out, at some point it just simply isn't enough. You need to be under a spiritual mantle that is God focused, that is spirit centric,
Yeah.
because that's really the only that's the good news, is that we have a spirit that now seeks to transform us in ever increasing likeness to God and an ever increasing alignment with God's purpose for our lives. And that's just awesome, frankly.
Yeah, and I think for me, things started shifting a lot in 2018 is when we got to have an incredible life-changing trip to Israel.
Yeah.
And it was there that so many things started to click and make sense. And that is when we really set off on a journey to discovering the Hebrew roots of our faith. And so for the last 5 years since then, we've been digging into that. We've had private groups, and we've had an amazing community that we've been building around
Yeah.
the Hebrew roots of our faith. And also, what has been so amazing is that because of who we are and what we do, it's also been really founded on emotional safety and emotional growth, and
Yeah.
really discovering how those two are so aligned. And it is in healing the deep wounds and connecting to that you're able to really step more fully in your purpose, and hearing God and really connecting to that. And that is what we have been so honored to do and support and be a part of. And that's been really, really awesome,
Because that's
especially when
really
we're
about God's
heading into
presence.
times like now, and with the climate that we are in at this time.
Yeah. And I think that, like you said, it's really, you discover that it's in presence that you find healing and peace, and love and purpose. And it's first and foremost in the presence of God that you find that. But then secondly, it's in the presence of others, people that are like-minded, people that also want to deepen their relationship with God, people that want to sincerely and genuinely get closer to him than they are now. And that makes such a huge difference being a part of that, because let's look at what we're dealing with right now. We
Mm,
live in a world where right is wrong and wrong is right.
yeah.
We live in a world where evil is not just sort of people are neutral about it, or people are not really caring about it. It's celebrated. Evil things are celebrated,
Yeah.
praised and lauded, and entire shows are built out on these things. People are feeling lost. They're feeling a sense of uncertainty about things. They don't really know where to put their trust, because they feel like so much of what they've trusted in the past has been shattered and
Hmm.
broken right beneath their feet. And so we're living in a world where there's chaos everywhere. There's a sense in which you never know what might happen. And quite honestly, the way that things are in the world right now, if we just looked at them,
Yeah.
would be frankly overwhelming. It
Yeah.
would be, oh my gosh, this is horrifying. I don't even know if I want to get out of bed today. But the cool thing is this: we have a God who is greater than all of that. And we have a God who loves us with an incomprehensible love that transcends our ability to grasp it.
Yeah.
God is intentionally and personally involved in our life. And if he wasn't, and he looked around at everything going on in the world today, it would be overwhelming,
Hmm.
except for that. Except for that. And that is really where our hope and our reward comes from, is from God, and from being able to experience his presence in our life. And what a joy that is amidst all that's going on in our
Yeah.
world now. And it's not just even the world, it's even in the church. And people are looking at things, and they're looking at their experiences, and there's a feeling of there's a gap between what the Bible says and what I'm seeing in people's lives, and what I'm seeing in what people are preaching and teaching about, writing books about. There's this gap, and
Mm,
and they don't know how to reconcile that gap. They just know that it's there. And so people are reaching out. They want truth. They want a foundation they can rest on, so that they can find rest for themselves. And that's what people are seeking. That's what people are wanting. And that's what we wanted. And so that's what we sought. And ultimately, that's what led us to create the membership that we did, because we figured out that, it's really in community that we experience such an enormous benefit from. And it's a community built around and centered on God.
hmm.
And it's driven by the Spirit. And it's an exciting place. I love, the members that we already have, and now we're opening it up to a larger group. We had it opened up to the founding members, and now it's everyone. And we're just really excited about that, because we
Yeah,
ourselves have
I'm
experienced.
I know I'm super excited about it, and that is what we are here to talk about, is that we are launching a monthly membership called Inspired
Yeah.
Life. And what Dan is talking about is we have been working with a group. We've really had a group going for really the last 6 years, but really the last couple years. Who knew? We launched in 2020 to go online in January, and not having any idea that everybody would end up being online 2 months later. And
Yeah.
so that's when we realized, oh my gosh, God called us to do that. We followed, and here it was, boom. And it's just been incredible. And what we feel is that really, what is Satan going to attack first is your identity, is
Yeah.
identity. And so the biggest focus that we have is healing, so that you can really step into and own your spiritual identity. And that's one of the main things that we really talk about and go into, because it's foundational. It's so important. So what we're about is growing in our spiritual identity and experiencing that growth and transformation that comes when you're aligned. And so our concept and really our vision for this membership is to create a place, to create a community where it's kind of like a river that runs through your life. If you think of the life that a river brings, right? And it's nurturing and it feeds all these things. And that river is filled with emotional growth and spiritual identity, spiritual and emotional growth. That is what it is all about. And so we're talking about, a lot of what we focus on is aligning with God's calendar, with the
Yeah.
Hebrew roots of our faith. And that has been amazing, because there's so much in there that we never knew about. There's themes to the months, there's themes to the seasons. There's things that when you recognize what season you're in or what month you're in, you go, oh, when you kind of know what's meant to be happening during that time, because God is cyclical. He has things that we get to experience that are the same every year. The seasons are the same every year, right? But every year when we go through them, we are in a different place, because we have grown, we have matured. We have matured just from life happening, right?
We experience it differently, right?
So you experience it totally differently. Have you ever gone back and watched one of those 80s movies that you
Oh,
loved when you were that age, and you watch it now and you're just like, wow, this isn't like, it's a different perspective. Or maybe you're connecting with a different character than you did then. And it's just so incredible the way that God works, because we can rely on it, and he's so steady, yet he also will bring us through things and bring us through tragedies and trauma. And there's seasons of life that we go through. And
yeah.
with this kind of support and growth is where, what I believe, you get to have that perspective, really, that grows from going through these different things, healing them on a heart level, and that shifts your perspective. You're able to see it through a different set of eyes. You're able to see
Yeah.
God, maybe the things that you're mad at God or feeling ashamed about. I think a lot of people that I've worked with, especially that are leaving churches that are not healthy and going through different things, that there's a lot of shame, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of not seeing, like Dan was talking about, the freedom in Christ. And so what we're about is really learning how to rely on God and not our own strength, and relying on God's strength, and really finding that transformation that maybe felt like has been beyond your grasp, and recognizing when you align with God, it's like you're jumping in the river and flowing with it.
Yeah.
There's a flowing with that feels, instead of trying to go up against something that you don't know how, there's a flowing. And that's so much of what we're about, and what we want to bring and invite you into.
I think that's why, that sort of that dissatisfaction that you're talking about, and the feelings that a lot of people have, is because a lot of people are experiencing, churchianity. And
Mm,
that's ultimately what they're leaving. They're not leaving God really per se. Oftentimes, they're really leaving churchianity. And the way I would describe churchianity is there's sort of three doctrines
mm,
that are part of churchianity. The first is sin management. The second is behavior modification. And the third is just try harder. And
mm.
that culmination, that is not the same thing as a living, authentic relationship with God. That is a man-made, humanistic, spiritual activity list masquerading as a relationship with God. So
Right.
it's small wonder that so many people are rejecting that, and they're turning to trying to find some type of real, true connection. And that's what we want to point people towards, is first and foremost a connection with God, but then also a connection within community where people aren't piling on the damage. Right now, let me just say, no one's perfect. We don't claim to be perfect. We don't claim to always handle every situation perfectly. We're still human beings, all of us. But what we're saying is that the overarching characteristic of this community is one of emotional safety. It's one in which people aren't, waiting to just spew their religious judgment all over your life. We want to bring truth clothed in love into people's lives. We want to see people experience healing and connection and depth with their relationship with God, because that's really what people are seeking. That is truly what we're made for. We're designed with a God-shaped hole in our hearts. And so that's why we try to fill it with anything else less than God, and it just doesn't quite satisfy.
Right.
And so that's what we want to build this community around, is a connectedness first to God and then to each other.
Yeah. And really what is, it's real simple. And we're all about keeping it simple. And what we do is every month we have a presentation on the Hebrew month, what the month is about. There's so much to it. And if you haven't researched it yet or studied it or looked into it, you're going to kind of like, your mind gets blown a little when you start to go, wow. And you realize that the things that we align with, we're aligning right now in this time of the year, we're aligning with God's people, getting the word, getting, like, Moses just came down not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, with the 10 commandments, right? And that's what we're aligning with, is his people getting ready to step into their promised land. And so this is a very, very powerful time where next week we enter into the new season of summer, and with that, the new month. And so we will be actually live Monday to present the first month, and we're super excited about that. Everything we're doing is leveling it all up. We're leveling it all.
The first month of summer.
Yes.
Clear. First month of summer. Yeah.
Tammuz,
yeah. What did I say? The first month of summer. Yeah.
We're starting out in the new season of summer. And what is the summertime? The summertime is meant for nurturing what has been planted, right? Spring, things are growing, things are getting nurtured, all of that is happening, and preparing for the fall, for the harvest of the fall. So it's perfect. I love the timing of all of this. And so we do monthly Hebrew teachings. We do a monthly call, a monthly live Zoom call where everyone comes. That has been such a powerful time. It's like where even though we don't get to see each other in person, we're all over. We have people from Canada. We have people from different states and all over the world, because we get to do that in the power of the internet, right? So we do a Zoom call where we have a theme for the month. There's going to be, it's not like a whole bunch of homework, but there's definitely guidance. There's guidance where you know about this theme, and we're going to have discussion about that. We're going to be able to break off into groups where you're going to get the opportunity to meet and learn and express. One of the things that we talk about in grief recovery is that what helps us to heal is to be heard by another human being, without judgment, without condemnation, obviously without comparing or minimizing. So this is a place for all of that. So we have the Zoom call every month. We will also have a live, like this, a live Q&A where we have questions that come in, and we're going to be going live, answering the questions, doing that. We also have a really cool, and I'll be posting this in the comments below, but a really cool planner called A Time to Align that Dan, if any of you have ever gotten anything that Dan has created, it's like above and beyond. This planner is so cool, and it's called A Time to Align, and it really goes along with, it's like part of the roadmap, so to speak, of really being able to organize, focus, and have all those things for the month ahead. This is just an extra tool that we thought would be super valuable. And one of the things that we're the most excited about is how we're going to be presenting this information. And I'll let Dan tell you.
Well, yeah. So the the planner is kind of cool because it's not a traditional planner where you're marking off and mapping out every minute of your day. It's literally designed to help you prioritize your life in alignment with the purposes that God has. And so it kind of empowers you to consistently choose the important over the immediate. You know, because what happens is when we choose the immediate instead of the important, then our lives feel really, really busy. But when we look back, we can't really think about what did we actually do.
Mm.
Kind of a frustrating feeling. And so that's all part of the book. And then what's happening in all of this is the app. And
Mhm.
that's something we're really kind of excited about. We are
Right.
not app designers, so it's been kind of daunting, and we're still tweaking some things. But we have an app because we wanted to create something completely off of Facebook. We
Well,
we
off
wanted something,
media.
yeah, we wanted something to be truly private. You know, that no matter what happens tomorrow or 10 years from now with Facebook or some other big mega publishing social media platform, um, we would be able to connect and have the community that we've built. So you don't have to have this fear of Facebook looking at your information or any of that kind of stuff. It's literally a private group for you to feel safe in and feel like it's a real community. And we're excited because inside of the app, all of this will exist. We're also building out a feature, which is I'm kind of excited about, that kind of gives you a check-in for, hey, what's going on in your connection with God? You know, things that you're grateful for, prayers that he's answering, ways that he's showing up. You know, not did you have a 30-minute quiet time? Did you pray for 17 minutes? Did you? It's none of that. It's not box checking spirituality, religion. It's really about connecting to God and then kind of having an accountability there. And then also using that to create a journal to look back on. It's an amazing, powerful thing to look back on all the prayers that God has answered, because it's very easy to forget.
Mhm.
Where it's very much on our mind when we're praying it, but then it's answered and then we've kind of moved on to the next thing. So it's kind of cool to have a log of that. It's like kind of cool to have a log of the things we're grateful for. Man, ooh, it's so easy for me to lose gratitude. You know, I have to really, it's something that requires some intentionality behind it, you know, and it's living in anticipation of how is God showing up? What is God speaking to me? Because it's weird if he's not. It's weird if he's not showing up,
Mm.
right? And so what an exciting place to be. Like, what is God going to do today? How is he going to show up? Where, you know, is he in this? Is he in that? You know, and living your life from that standpoint. And that's where one of the things that's an overarching thing is living in a Hebrew mindset versus a Greek mindset. You know, and our whole app, our whole membership is built around a paradigm shift concerning that. Because, see, in the Greek mindset assumes that we can humanistically sort out and figure out any problem that we're confronted with. All we
Mm.
have to do is just think long enough and hard enough, and we can neatly come up with any answer to any problem. And then the best part is we don't have to think about that anymore. It's
Mm.
kind of like if you're watching a sitcom and no matter what's going on in the sitcom, everything is neatly wrapped up and tied together in 23 minutes. And of course, we all know life is much messier than that. What I appreciate about the Hebrew mindset is that the Hebrew mindset says, you know what? Um, there is no end to God. God is truly endless. So no matter what question God answers, that can only lead to a better question, because I never get to the end of him. And so you start to approach things with a very different mindset. There's an openness to things. There's an exploration of things. There's well, this is where I've landed right now. And then God brings you, I mean, there's so many things that God has brought me deeper into over time. And it isn't that I'm experiencing some new truth. It's just that God is enabling me to see the richness and depth of that truth in a way that I hadn't seen before. And on it goes, because like in the Hebrew mindset, there is no end to God. So it's actually pretty exciting. It's a pretty exciting way to think and to live and to experience God.
Yeah, it's really, it is. It's really amazing. And we talk a lot about these things. We're just kind of skimming over, but
Yeah.
man, there's so much rich stuff in there in understanding the Hebrew mindset. Yeah. And we are really excited. This is going to be, I'm going to put the link out here. Um, right there it is. So we're super excited. It's the inspiredlife.com/membership. And if you go there, you will see everything that we have. You can learn all about it there. We are going to be kicking off next Thursday night, will be our very first Zoom meeting where everyone will be together. We're going to have a welcome. We're going to kind of start things off Monday. We will be live to talk about the new month. The new month starts on Tuesday. So we are going to be sharing, we have an amazing presentation scheduled to really teach about the Hebrew month and what we're entering into. And then Thursday night, the 22nd, will be our very first time all getting together on Zoom. And we are super excited about that. That has become one of our favorite nights of the week, is to get with everybody. So we will be doing that monthly. And one of the things too that was really on our heart was we wanted to take 10% of everything that we do and support something that is very near and dear to our hearts. And we have been supporting and following this for a long time. We do that with a few things, but we really landed on supporting Operation Underground Railroad and their fight to save people that have been in sex trafficking and that have been exploited around the globe. And I'm going to also put in a link to that entity. What do you call it?
Organization.
Yeah, that organization, because man, they're incredible.
Yeah,
And
they really are.
It's really cool because they actually filmed a movie about them and about Tim Ballard, who created it. And they've been trying to get it out for 3 years. And it's been fought against, and it is going to come out in July 4th, actually, a story about it. And it's called Sound of Freedom. And what an incredible. So we're very excited to not just promote them and get the word out, but to support that. So one of the things that's going to be in our app is going to be every month, we're going to be sharing on there how much we were able to donate that month as a group, as a community, to that incredible organization. So I'm really excited about that. That was something that was really important to us, that we wanted to include that in this process, and as a community support something that had so much value and meaning too. Super excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. So that is the link. The link is inspiredlife.com/membership. We are open. Today is the first day that it is open for you to join. We are both on Facebook here. And if you are looking at this, if you check it out and you have any questions, message us.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
DM us. You can DM either. Yeah, if you are seeing this, you must know us or be friends with us somehow here on Facebook. And please feel free to send either one of us a DM if you have questions or if you want to learn more. We're happy to share about that. We are really excited, and we just feel blessed that God has been really putting it on our hearts to just really invest out there what we've been learning. And really where we're really aligning it together with emotional growth and spiritual health. So that is our dream. That is our goal. That is what we have done.
Yeah, just make sure you click the link below for more information, and I think we'll also make sure we have it in the Facebook group, and for you guys to have easy access to. And we're really excited when we hope you join us. So we will be talking to you guys very soon.
Yeah, very soon. We're entering into Shabbat tonight, Friday night. So we will end with Shabbat Shalom, which is wishing you the most incredible peace for the next 24 hours as possible. We love you guys. Take
All right.
care.
Love you guys. See ya.